building has been repointed. All of the statuary around the property has been cleaned. This brand new floor, isn't this beautiful? So I hope that you really appreciate the hard work. You know, sometimes people wonder what their money goes for. These are the things that you are supporting as members of the Preservation Society. And believe me, if we were not taking care of these buildings, nobody would. So it really is important that you continue to stick with us, be supportive, and I think you'd agree that the outcome is great. So, we have a very short program about the exhibition upstairs. I'm delighted to introduce Leslie Jones, who is our Director of Museum Affairs, and she and her staff have done phenomenal work over the last many months. And make sure that you go downstairs to our new store, and if you visit, you get a magnet. There's your free magnet. Celestial City, Newport and China. Lots of new objects in the store, so have fun with them. Leslie?
Hi everyone. It's nice to see Rosecliff filled up again, so we're really grateful that you joined us this evening for the debut of the hard work that Mike took on, as well as many people in our properties and conservation teams. My job tonight is to thank the many people that contributed to this exhibition over the many years it took to bring together. A little known fact is that when Dr. Williams, the curator of the exhibition, interviewed for her job here as the curator of collections, this was an exhibition challenge I presented to her as a part of her interview. And she brought back a lot of the information that you're going to be seeing in the exhibition tonight. So that initial impression is now fulfilled. And congratulations to Nikki. In the interest of time, I'm going to go through the list of people that contributed to this exhibition in no particular order, but they all need and deserve to be recognized by name. From the Museum Affairs staff, Patty Miller, Carola Schuler, Dagan Franz, Heather Hodge, Lauren Landing, Amanda Quink, Victoria McKenna-Ratchin, Jenna Duplessis, Cassie Fraley, Brooke Borsberry, Alicia Shook, our research fellows Danny Zhang and Astrid Twenstrand, and our education team, Kate Pedersen, as well as the support that Jim Donahue, our curator of historic landscapes and horticulture, provided. We also had some of our favorite contributors come back to this exhibition, including Dwight Jameson and Jeff Moore, who was our former chief conservator. So thank you to you for all of your hard work. We also were able to bring this together not only through the works of our collection, but through some very generous loans from premier institutions across the U.S. And those include the Huntington Museum of Art, Winterthur Museum, Redwood Library and Athenaeum, Newport Historical Society, the Library of Congress, Museum of the City of New York, the Croke Library of Cornell University, University of Rochester, University of Illinois, the artist Jennifer Ling Dychok via Ruiz Healy Art, Museum of Chinese in America, William Christen and Sons, Alex Allert, Richard Hess, and the Douglas Chu family. We're also incredibly grateful for those who helped financially make this exhibition work. It has been not only a labor of love, but a labor of investment for the Preservation Society. So I would especially like to acknowledge the presenting sponsor, Caroline Cummins and the Sante Center for Natural Healing. I'd like to give them a round of applause. Our partner level sponsors include the Sullivan Family Charitable Trust. Our gallery sponsors are Deborah and Claudio Del Vecchio, Margaret and Sean Maloney, and Marion Guy Van Pelt. And you'll see all their names as well as others recognized upstairs in the galleries. So again, thank you so much for being here. It's my true honor and privilege to introduce you to the exhibition curator, Dr. Nichole Williams.
Thank you for that very kind introduction, Leslie, and thanks so much to everyone here. Looking around, I see friends, I see supporters, colleagues, and collaborators, and I'm honored to be in your company, and I'm really excited to share with you a little more about the Celestial City. The Celestial City celebrates Chinese and Chinese-American contributions to Newport from the 18th century through the Gilded Age. And I have to start by emphasizing that the show was a truly collaborative effort I want to echo the thanks that Leslie offered to our entire Museum Affairs team and our wonderful fellows, particularly Denny Jung, whose research contributed immensely to this show. And the show is also the result of countless conversations that I've had with other scholars, with contemporary artists, and with the descendants of courageous Chinese immigrants to this country. And I wanted to capture in the public galleries all of this exciting dialogue that was happening behind the scenes. And as a result, I decided to frame the galleries upstairs as a dialogue. Object labels you'll find are ringing with the voices of different contributors. So you'll find wall text written by young fellows and contemporary artists whose works are also on display. You'll hear directly through labels and a filmed interview from the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of Chinese women suffragists and the first Chinese residents of Newport. I hope this dialogic aspect of the exhibition that elevates diverse voices and welcomes multiple perspectives will become a new model for future exhibitions at the Preservation Society. And I also hope that the new stories that we present in the Celestial City will live on in future tours and programs, and that they'll transform more broadly how the history of Newport gets told. So these new narratives dramatically expand our knowledge of the interwoven histories of Newport and China by emphasizing the unsung contributions of many different people of Chinese heritage. They take us far beyond what we knew previously about local participation in the China trade and the local fashion for Chinese goods, revealing how Chinese and Chinese American individuals shaped all aspects of life in Newport. So they shaped Newport culturally, economically, and politically. Simply put, they transformed the fabric of this city. For example, some of you may be surprised to learn that more than 60 Chinese-owned businesses opened in Newport during the Gilded Age. Hardworking and resilient Chinese immigrants had bustling businesses at central locations on Thames Street and Broadway and on Spring Street and Duke Street. They enriched these neighborhoods' diversity and spirit of interdependence. And on that note, I want to recognize a very special guest here tonight, Terrence Lee. Thank you so much for coming. Terrence's grandfather, Gum Lee, was an early Chinese laundry owner in Newport, as well as a devoted family man. And Terrence graciously shared Gum's story with us. And when you go upstairs, I encourage you all to watch a moving interview we filmed with Terrence, reflecting on how his grandfather Gum persevered and paved the way for generations of his family. I also want to thank Margaret and Sean Maloney, whose immense generosity allowed us to locate Terrence through genealogical research and produce this video interview. And we have another very special guest with us here tonight, Doug Chu. Doug's great-grandmother, Gracie of Taikon, was the heroine of another extraordinary Newport story. Grace was a pioneering Chinese-American suffragist, and in 1912, she partnered with famed suffrage leader Alva Vanderbilt Belmont of Marble House to help win voting rights for women. And Grace also advocated for greater educational opportunities for Chinese women and children in the United States. And upstairs we share more about Grace and other Chinese women suffragists who inspired not just Alva Belmont's activism, but I think also her building of the Chinese tea house at Marble House. So the Celestial City really reimagines the tea house, which is a crown jewel of the Newport mansions, as a monument to these intercultural exchanges at the heart of the U.S. women's suffrage movement. Doug, thank you so much for being here this evening and for loaning your precious family heirlooms to this show and for helping us to learn more about your great-grandmother's inspiring life and legacy. And since we're in the ballroom of Rosecliff Mansion, I want to share just one more important connection we've uncovered between the Newport mansions and the Chinese-American experience. And I want you to take a second to look around you at this extravagant interior. All of this opulence was made possible by Chinese labor in the American West. Heiress Tessie Fair Ulrichs built this mansion in Rosecliff with wealth from her father, James Graham Fair, a Western railroad and mining magnate who employed many Chinese workers. Around 1850, thousands of Chinese men moved to the American West, drawn by the gold rush, and they were seeking better lives for themselves and their families. They found work building railroads, clearing land, and mining gold and silver. So the Fair family fortune and Rosecliff itself were built on their hard work and perseverance. This Chinese story behind Rosecliff is honored upstairs in a stunning set of large-scale illuminated lanterns that contemporary artist Yuan Wu created especially for this show. We are so grateful for Yuan's powerful contribution. Her 5 lanterns illuminate literally and figuratively the themes of Chinese immigration to the American West and then on to Newport, the trade in Chinese commodities that enriched Newport, Chinese entrepreneurship in Newport, the painful legacy of the Chinese Exclusion Act, and Chinese contributions to the American women's suffrage movement. In closing, I want to thank my very closest collaborator, Dr. Bing Huang, assistant professor at Providence College. Bing has been my partner in developing this exhibition almost since its inception, and I truly relied on her time and again for her keen knowledge of Chinese art and cultural history. We spent many afternoons together touring the mansions, bouncing ideas back and forth, slowly teasing out the meanings of Chinese art treasures in our collections. And Bing has been a terrific scholarly partner and has also become a very dear friend in this process. And I want to invite Bing up now to say a few words. Thank you all again for being here this evening and for your support of the PS. And I hope you enjoy the show.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. And I'm really grateful to Nikki for the heartfelt introduction. It has been a privilege to lend my expertise to this exhibition, and even more so to have forged a lifelong friendship with Nikki in this process. Our exhibition is set against a backdrop of enduring fascination between US and China, and more broadly, the West and East. This fascination, deeply rooted in history, is most vividly manifested in art and artifacts meticulously crafted and fervently amassed over the centuries. This dance of mutual fascination stretching across time forms the tapestry of our exhibition. As you venture upstairs to see the exhibition, you will be greeted by an oil portrait of a Chinese home merchant, Wu Bingjian, from the 19th century. A piece created by the Cantonese studio of Lam Qua in emulation of the style of Lam Qua's teacher, George Chinnery, an English painter who spent most of his life in China. Wu Bingjian, whose life spanned from 1769 to 1843, was arguably the wealthiest man on earth in the 19th century. His investment of a staggering $500,000 to American railroads in collaboration with John Murray Forbes, coupled with his decision to delegate the management of all his overseas investment to foreign acquaintances, underscores a degree of reciprocal trust that transcends conventional expectations. Yet, despite his stature, he found himself, much like many of today's Chinese business tycoons, at the mercy of the forces beyond his control. Government-driven commercial profits, viewing merchants as the wellspring of wealth to be tapped through fines, sometimes fabricated. After almost single-handedly paying fines to the British for the Opium War in 1842, he also lost his Guangzhou trade monopoly, and reflecting on this, he wrote to his friend, Robert Forbes, "If I were young now, I would seriously consider taking a ship to the United States and settling somewhere near you." Additionally, as you proceed upstairs, you will encounter a self-portrait sculpture by eminent American sculptor and art patron Gertrude Vanderbilt Whitney, founder of the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York City. She modeled herself as a Chinese Buddhist deity and named the sculpture chinoise, French term for a Chinese woman. She used a mudra called Abhaya mudra, the gesture of reassurance and safety, and donned a Buddhist monk robe and drapery typically associated with Guanyin, Shakyamuni. The exhibition showcased a plethora of Chinese objects collected by Americans during the Gilded Age, encompassing a wide array of artifacts and photographs from the chinoiserie rooms of the mansions here, as well as the Chinese tea house located here at the Marble House. Notably, the phenomenon of chinoiserie rooms extended beyond Newport. They can be discovered in Miami's Vizcaya Villa and are a recurring feature in many European palaces and gardens, a tradition with origins tracing back to the 18th century Europe. This enduring fascination with China prompts a critical inquiry. Is this curiosity about the other rooted in a genuine admiration, or does it reflect a sensationalist interest in the strange or the shocking, or perhaps a complex interplay of both? The philosophers of French Enlightenment saw widely divergent views on China. Voltaire lauded the Chinese Empire as a vast family and championed it as a global model. In stark contrast, Montesquieu depicts China as a despotic state bound by fear. The first British embassy to China in 1793, the so-called Macartney Embassy, returned with journals filled with disdain for what they deemed China's backwardness. Yet, the very sketches and drawings of China made by the embassy members inspired romantic chinoiserie motifs that later adorned places such as Royal Pavilion of Brighton in England, commissioned by King George IV. Perhaps viewing China as an antipode, a locus of presumed difference, illuminates the self, contributing to the formation of self-awareness. The works we show today prompt us to reflect on the intricate web of perception, motivations, and interaction, an ever-evolving narrative of global exchange. I sincerely hope you can enjoy the show as much as Nikki and I enjoy putting it together. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Join us upstairs and continue to have drinks.